Millionaire disguised as a beggar to find a wife in a beauty contest when Lucas was in his elegant penthouse in the heart of Los Angeles, watching the city lights through the panoramic window. The sound of traffic and nightlife barely reached his ears as he was deep in thought. The table in front of him was filled with carefully organized documents and notes. He got up and approached the window, his eyes reflecting the restlessness of his soul. "This has to work," Lucas murmured, clenching his fists with determination. Lucas, a man who had everything from an immense fortune to a life of luxury, was tired. He had tried love on several occasions, but he had always felt that the people around him were more interested in his money than in himself. His last relationship had ended in disaster, and the disappointment led him to a drastic decision. With a voice that showed a mixture of sadness and resolution, Lucas called his trusted advisor Roberto. "Roberto, I need you to organize everything for me," Lucas said firmly. "I'm going to participate in a beauty pageant, but with a little twist. I will dress up as a beggar." Roberto looked at him, stunned. "That? Dress up as a beggar? Lucas, are you sure about this?" Roberto asked, concern evident in his voice. "Yes, I'm sure. I want to see who is really interested in me, not my money. I'm tired of appearances. I'm not going to let anyone find out who I am until the end. I want to find someone genuine." Roberto's face reflected disbelief, but also a silent understanding of Lucas's desperation. "It's okay, Lucas. Whatever you ask, I will do it. But how do you plan to do it?" Lucas turned to him with a look of determination. "First, I need a perfect costume. No brand name clothes. I need to appear authentic. Then, you'll have to research every detail of the contest and make sure I can enter without raising suspicion. No errors." "As you say," Roberto said, nodding slowly. "But you must be prepared for anything. You don't know what could happen." Lucas turned back to the window, watching the city lights with a mixture of hope and fear. He knew this decision was risky, but he felt like it was his last chance to find a real connection. "I know, Roberto. I just need this to work. I have to discover if there is someone in this world who loves me for who I am, not for what I have." Roberto left the office with an expression of concern and determination, leaving Lucas alone with his thoughts. Lucas sat at the table, looking at the documents with a mixture of nervousness and excitement. This was the beginning of a journey that would test his patience, his ingenuity, and above all, his ability to face the truth about himself. The day of the beauty contest was here. The grandiose event was held in a luxurious hotel in Los Angeles, with bright lights and red carpets that extended throughout the room. Lucas, disguised in simple, thin clothes and an old hat, observed the scene with a mixture of anxiety and curiosity. His appearance was that of a common beggar, with an unshaven beard and a tired look. He was sitting in a corner, away from the spotlight, and his eyes followed every movement of the contestants and the audience. Amid the glamour and ostentation, he felt like an intruder, but his determination was unshakable. The goal was to find someone who was genuine. Suddenly, a young woman walked onto the stage with calm confidence. She was Sophia, and her presence was a breath of fresh air. While the other participants posed and smiled for the cameras, Sophia walked with a simplicity and shine that caught Lucas' attention. There was something about her that seemed genuine and true, and it captured Lucas's attention immediately. He decided to get closer, and the opportunity arose when Sophia took a break during the event break to talk to the audience. Lucas approached timidly and in a hoarse voice, asked for some money. "Please, señorita, could you help me with some money?" he asked, with a tone of voice that mixed humility and a hint of hope. Sophia looked at him with compassion, her eyebrows furrowing in concern. She saw Lucas' precarious condition and immediately felt an impulse to help. Without hesitation, she took her hand out of her pocket and offered him some change, but her eyes were filled with sincere curiosity. "Why are you here, señor?" Sophia asked, her voice soft and full of empathy. Lucas hesitated for a moment, his mind racing to find a plausible answer. He wasn't prepared to be questioned so directly, and the sincerity in Sophia's eyes touched him deeply. "Just looking for a little help," Lucas replied, looking at the ground. But something in Sophia's tone made him look up. He saw her as someone who truly cared, not like most people who treated him with indifference or contempt. "Are you alone?" Sophia asked, worried. "See," Lucas replied, feeling a lump in his throat. He knew he was lying, but Sophia's gaze made him feel a strange sense of comfort. Sophia invited him to sit with her during the break. The conversation between the two began to flow easily. She told him about her life, her daily struggles, and how she was participating in the beauty pageant in hopes of changing her financial situation. "My family is going through very difficult times. Participating here is an opportunity for us," Sophia said, her voice tinged with a mix of hope and despair. Lucas listened carefully, feeling a heavy weight in his heart. Sophia's words were revealing a reality that he had never known up close. Her honesty and courage were palpable, and it only deepened his inner confusion. As the conversation continued, Lucas began to question whether he was doing the right thing. He was increasingly attracted to Sophia's authenticity, and the plan to remain incognito was starting to feel like an unbearable burden. He knew he needed more time to truly understand the person he had found, but his heart was torn between going through with the plan or revealing his true identity. The days passed and the beauty contest continued, but Lucas was increasingly intrigued by Sophia. He found himself observing her often, always trying to understand her true essence. Her feelings were mixed, and Sophia's life was becoming an essential part of her undercover experience. On a particularly hot afternoon, Sophia invited him to visit her house. She was excited, despite the difficulties, and wanted to show him a little of her life outside the event. Lucas, with his heart beating fast and a mixture of nervousness and excitement, accepted the invitation. When they arrived at Sophia's small house, Lucas was surprised to see the simplicity and struggle that marked the place. The house was small and modest, but the atmosphere was full of warmth and care. The walls were decorated with photos of his family and drawings made by his younger brothers. However, difficulty was evident around every corner. "Bienvenido a mi hogar," Sophia said, with a smile that tried to hide her concern. Lucas walked in, trying not to look embarrassed. Sophia guided him to the living room, which had an old sofa and some makeshift chairs. "That's all we have for now," Sophia explained, while preparing a coffee. There was a forced smile on his lips, but his eyes betrayed a deep tiredness. While she prepared coffee, Lucas observed the details around him: broken toys on the floor, a table with some beads scattered around, and a small kitchen with simple utensils. The reality of Sophia's life was very different from the luxurious life he was used to, and the harshness of that reality touched him deeply. Sophia sat next to Lucas, trying to keep the conversation light. "What do you think?" Sophia asked, her voice a mix of pride and sadness. Lucas hesitated, feeling a lump in his throat. He knew he couldn't lie about the impact this had on him. "It's very different from what I'm accustomed to," Lucas admitted, his voice low and full of emotion. Sophia looked at him, her eyes filled with a vulnerability that Lucas had never seen before. She started talking about the difficulties she was facing, how she had lost her father a few years ago and was now struggling to keep her family together. "My mother is sick and my younger brother can't find work. Sometimes I feel like I'm fighting against a wall," Sophia said, her voice breaking as she faltered. Lucas felt a wave of empathy and pain upon hearing Sophia's words. He could see the weight of responsibilities on her shoulders and the sadness in her eyes. Her life was full of challenges he had never known, and it made his own problems seem insignificant.
"I'm so sorry, Sophia."
"I had no idea how much you're going through," Lucas said, sincerely in his voice reflecting on the depth of his feelings. Sophia smiled with a touch of sadness, but also gratitude. "Thank you for understanding. Sometimes I just need someone to listen to me." As the coffee cooled in their cups, the conversation between them flowed into deeper issues. They shared stories of their childhoods, dreams, and fears. Lucas found himself revealing more about himself than he planned, while Sophia showed a courage and resilience that inspired him. The sun was setting and cast a soft light on the small house, creating a melancholy and introspective atmosphere. Lucas knew he was getting closer to Sophia's truth and, at the same time, moving away from his own plan. The contrast between their lives seemed increasingly painful and confusing. At the end of the visit, Sophia said goodbye with a tight hug, and Lucas was left alone, contemplating the simplicity and struggle of Sophia's life. He felt like he was getting too deeply involved, and the feeling of being torn between his mission and his feelings for her was almost unbearable. It was a quiet night in Los Angeles, but tension hung in the air. Lucas and Sophia were at the beauty pageant event, one of the last nights before the grand final. The atmosphere was lively, but Lucas was restless. He had decided it was time to reveal the truth to Sophia, but doubt and fear consumed him. Sophia was in a corner of the room, wearing a stunning dress and a radiant smile. She seemed the picture of confidence, but Lucas knew that was just a facade to hide the internal battles she faced. He approached her with a heavy heart, feeling the weight of the truth he was about to unleash on her. "Sophia, can we talk in private?" Lucas asked, his voice shaking slightly. Sophia looked at him with an expression of curiosity and concern. They moved away from the hustle and bustle of the event and found a quieter location. The soft light from the lamps cast shadows on their faces, and the silence around them was almost palpable. "What's going on?" Sophia asked, her penetrating eyes studying Lucas's face. He took a deep breath, trying to gather his courage. "There's something I need to tell you," Lucas said, his voice strained. "What I told you before is not the whole truth. My name is not Javier. I am Lucas, a very rich man. I dressed up as a beggar to really know you." Sophia looked at him, astonished, as if Lucas' words were a physical blow. His smile disappeared and his eyes filled with deep confusion and pain. "What are you saying?" Sophia whispered, her voice cracking. "I was tired of people who are only interested in my money. I wanted to see if there was someone genuine, someone who loved me for who I am," Lucas explained, with a tone of guilt and despair. Sophia was in shock, her eyes filled with tears. The pain and betrayal were evident on his face. She had trusted Lucas and believed his story. Now it all seemed like a cruel lie. "Why did you do this?" Sophia asked, in a voice full of gold. "Why couldn't you be honest from the beginning?" Lucas felt a lump in his throat. He knew his words couldn't undo the damage he had already done.
Sophia,
"I didn't know you were so important to me. At first, I just wanted to test people's sincerity, but after I met you, I realized that you are different. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you." Sophia took a step back, as if she was trying to protect herself from a blow. Tears began to roll down her cheeks, and she shook her head in disbelief. "You told me your problems, your dreams, and now I discover that everything was a farce. I can't believe you care so little about me." Lucas tried to reach for her hand, but Sophia pulled away, her pain evident in every movement. "Please, Sophia, try to understand. I really care about you," Lucas begged, his voice full of desperation. "It wasn't meant to hurt you. I just wanted to find someone real." Sophia shook her head, unable to accept Lucas's apology. She was struggling to control her emotions, pain mixed with anger. "I need time to process this. I don't know if I can move on after all this," Sophia said, her voice tremendous as she grew louder. Lucas stood there, helpless and devastated, as Sophia walked away. The weight of the truth and the pain of seeing her go crushed him. He knew he had crossed a line that perhaps could not be undone. The final scene left Lucas in a state of despair and regret as he watched the woman he had come to love walk away heartbroken. The following morning was marked by tense silence. Lucas was alone in his luxurious apartment, the feeling of loss and regret weighing him down. Sunlight filtered through the windows, but to Lucas the world seemed dull and distant. He was sitting at the table, hands covering his face, when his phone rang. It was Roberto, his advisor, calling to find out what the situation was like. Lucas answered, his voice filled with despair and discouragement. "Hola, Roberto," said Lucas, his voice breaking. "I need your help." "What's going on, Lucas?" Roberto asked, with a worried tone. "How is everything?" "I need a plan. I want to do something to correct what I did. I can't let Sophia leave like this, just like that." Roberto was silent for a moment, surprised by the intensity of Lucas's emotions. "What do you want to do?" Roberto asked. "I want to prove to Sophia that my feeling for her is real," Lucas explained, his voice full of determination. "I want to do something great, something that shows her that what I feel is not a fake. I need a way to show her that the truth and love I feel for her are genuine." Roberto took a deep breath, understanding the gravity of the situation. "It's fine, Lucas. Let's think of something. But know that it won't be easy. Trust has been broken, and regaining it will take time and effort." Lucas nodded, his determination renewed. He was willing to do whatever it took to win Sophia back, even if it meant facing significant challenges. Meanwhile, Sophia was at home, trying to process the revelation. The day passed slowly, each minute bringing a mixture of pain and confusion. She was in her room, looking out the window, when her friend Clara arrived to visit her. "Sophia, how are you?" Clara asked, her tone gentle and concerned. Sophia turned around, her eyes red and swollen from crying. "I don't know, Clara. I feel betrayed and hurt. Everything I thought was true turned out to be a lie." Clara approached and hugged her, offering comfort. "I'm sorry, friend. What are you going to do now?" Sophia sighed, the pain still evident on her face. "Don't know. Lucas told me he loves me, but how can I believe that after everything that happened?" Clara tried to offer some comfort, but knew that the final decision was in Sophia's hands. She needed to find a way to deal with the pain and decide if she was willing to give Lucas a second chance. That night, Lucas prepared an elaborate plan to win Sophia back. He knew he needed to do something great, something that would show the depth of his feelings. The idea involved a big public statement that would show Sophia how much he was willing to change and fight for her. He planned a surprise during the beauty pageant final, a moment that Sophia and all the other participants would be watching. Lucas prepared a sincere speech, where he would reveal his feelings and the truth about his past, and demonstrate his regret and his desire to make things right. As the contest final approached, Lucas felt a mixture of nervousness and hope. He was prepared to do whatever it took to show Sophia that his love was real, and that he was willing to fight for her until the end. It was the big day of the beauty contest final. The luxurious ballroom was filled with guests, cameras and spotlights, creating an atmosphere of grandeur and expectation. The contestants, including Sophia, were preparing backstage as the audience waited anxiously to see who would be crowned the winner. Sophia was nervous, her heart was pounding. She tried to focus on her presentation, but the memory of Lucas's revelation was still fresh in her mind. "Every time I thought about Lucas, the pain and betrayal came back, mixed with a feeling of confusion." However, in the midst of the hustle and bustle, Lucas was busy with his plan. He had prepared a speech that would be broadcast live during the final, a gesture that would show everyone, especially Sophia, how much he was willing to fight for her. He was in a dressing room, surrounded by Roberto and some advisors, and the tension was palpable. "Lucas, time is running out. Are you ready?" Roberto asked, watching Lucas with concern. Lucas took a deep breath, trying to control the anxiety he felt. "Yes, I'm ready. This is what I need to do," he replied firmly, his voice full of determination and nervousness. Meanwhile, Sophia was on stage, giving her final performance for the contest. Her beauty and grace were on display, but her gaze was distant. She tried hard to smile and maintain her composure, but the pain was still present in every step she took. Finally, the performance ended and the judges began to deliberate. While the result was awaited, a surprise was announced. A special speech would be presented to the public. Lucas took the stage with a serious and resolute expression. He was dressed in an elegant suit, but his look revealed a broken heart. When he began to speak, the room fell silent, all eyes fixed on him. "Good evening, everyone," Lucas said, his voice firm but with perceptible tremor. "Today I am here to make an important statement. I have realized that in my quest to find someone true, I have caused a lot of pain." He paused, looking directly at Sophia, who was in the audience, her face showing a mixture of curiosity and pain. "Sophia, you have shown me what it means to be genuine, and I failed by not being honest with you from the beginning. I have been searching for true love, but what I really needed was to be honest with myself and myself." Sophia was in shock, her eyes fixed on Lucas. The room was filled with murmurs, but Lucas continued, his voice thick with emotion. "I want you to know that what I feel for you is real. Everything I have done, including disguising myself and deceiving you, has been because I care about you more than I can express. I am deeply sorry for the pain I have caused you." Lucas paused again, trying to gather his courage. "Sophia, I am willing to do everything possible to earn your trust again. I don't know if you will forgive me, but I want you to know that my love for you is true. If you give me a chance, I promise to be completely honest and work to show you that I can be the man you deserve." Sophia was in tears, her emotions overwhelming her. The pain and confusion were clearly visible, but there was also a glimmer of hope in his eyes. She stood up slowly, moving to the center of the audience where Lucas was. "Lucas, Sophia said, her voice filled with emotion and hesitancy. "All of this is very difficult to process. You have hurt me deeply, and I don't know if I can trust you again." Lucas took a step towards her, his gaze full of hope. "I understand, Sophia. I don't expect you to forgive me right away. I just want the opportunity to show that I can change, that what I feel for you is sincere. I will do everything in my power to earn your trust and love again. Sophia looked at him, her heart divided between the desire to believe Lucas and the fear of being hurt again. Tears continued to stream down her face, and the atmosphere was charged with emotion. It was the big day of the beauty pageant final. The luxurious hall was filled with guests, cameras and spotlights, creating an atmosphere of grandeur and expectation. The contestants, including Sophia, were preparing backstage, while the audience waited anxiously to see who would be crowned the winner. Sophia was nervous, her heart was pounding. He was trying to concentrate on his presentation, but the memory of Lucas' revelation was still fresh in his mind. Every time she thought about Lucas, the pain and betrayal came back, mixed with a sense of confusion. However, in the midst of the turmoil, Lucas was busy with his plan. He had prepared a speech that would be broadcast live during the final, a gesture that would show everyone, especially Sophia, how much he was willing to fight for her. He was in a dressing room, surrounded by Roberto and some advisors, and the tension was palpable. "Lucas, time is running out. Are you ready?" Roberto asked, looking at Lucas with concern. Lucas took a deep breath, trying to control the anxiety he felt. "Yes, I am ready. This is what I need to do." He responded firmly, his voice thick with determination and nervousness. Meanwhile, Sophia was on stage, making her final presentation for the contest. Her beauty and grace were on display, but her gaze was distant. He tried hard to smile and maintain his composure, but the pain was still present with every step he took. Finally, the presentation ended and the judges began to deliberate. While waiting for the result, a surprise was announced. A special speech would be presented to the public. Lucas took the stage with a serious and determined expression. He was dressed in an elegant suit, but his look revealed a broken heart. As he began to speak, the room fell silent, all eyes fixed on him. "Good evening, everyone," Lucas began, his voice firm but with a perceptible tremor. "Today I am here to make an important statement. I have realized that in my quest to find someone true, I have caused a lot of pain." He paused, looking directly at Sophia, who was in the audience, her face showing a mix of curiosity and pain. "Sophia, you have shown me what it means to be genuine, and I failed by not being honest with you from the beginning. I have been searching for true love, but what I really needed was to be honest with myself and myself." Sophia was shocked, her eyes fixed on Lucas. The room was filled with murmurs, but Lucas continued, his voice thick with emotion. "I want you to know that what I feel for you is real. Everything I have done, including disguising myself and deceiving you, has been because I care about you more than I can express. I am deeply sorry for the pain I have caused you." Lucas paused again, trying to gather courage. "Sophia, I am willing to do everything possible to earn your trust again. I don't know if you will forgive me, but I want you to know that my love for you is true. If you give me a chance, I promise to be completely honest and work to show you that I can be the man you deserve." Sophia was in tears, her emotions taking over her. The pain and confusion were clearly visible, but there was also a gleam of hope in his eyes. He stood up slowly, moving towards the center of the audience where Lucas stood. "Lucas, Sophia began, her voice full of emotion and hesitation. "All of this is very difficult to process. You have hurt me deeply, and I don't know if I can trust you again." Lucas took a step towards her, his gaze full of hope. "I understand, Sophia. I don't expect you to forgive me right away. I just want the opportunity to show that I can change, that what I feel for you is sincere. I will do everything in my power to earn your trust and love again." Sophia looked at him, her heart divided between the desire to believe in Lucas and the fear of being hurt again. Tears continued to roll down her face, and the atmosphere was charged with emotion.